first up, on some of what played out today. So we've had two sides, the caretaker and the Abure-led Labour Party. So what is the premise for suspending the only governor you have and one of the only senators you have, while other parties like the APC is busy welcoming members, even getting as much as a governor into their fold? PDP are struggling on their own, but they've also gotten, I think, a senator that defected from the Labour Party into the PDP on the floor of the Senate yesterday. It looks like the Labour Party is almost like on a losing spree in this sense. Is that what you are seeing from the Abure end, or what exactly is the rationale behind this?
Thank you very much. The National Executive Council of the Labour Party is vested with powers to administer the party between the national conventions of the party. It has the authority to promote the interests of the party and ensure the smooth running of the party. It also has the party to disciplinary members. For some time now, we have seen a lot of misbehavior by members of the party. And no party and no responsible organization will fold its arms when it is being dragged in the mud, when the reputation of that organization is being lowered, when the image of the party is being battered in the eyes of the public. It behoves on every regulation to have disciplinary measures and invoke those disciplinary measures in order to exercise discipline and make every member of the party show a sense of responsibility. The decision taken by NEC today actually is long overdue. We have seen a lot of misbehavior by members of the party, which no responsible organization will tolerate. And we think when things like this happen, it is important that the party will show that it has the power to discipline its members. So those things are provided for in the constitution of the party. And for everybody who becomes a member of the party knows that that party is a voluntary organization. You have willingly subscribed and willingly submit yourself to the authority of that party. And by the supremacy of every political party, every member is supposed to, as much as possible, align with the programs and policy of that political party. And no member should see himself, no matter how highly placed, no matter the position you are occupying, you should recognize that the party is supreme and the party is superior to whatever position that you are holding. So it is in that light that...
My apologies.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
I want to bring in Mr. Ekoma on this one, but before I go to Mr. Ekoma, when you say the NEC, so which elected official, I can see your constitution who constitute your NEC, but which elected official of your party was part of this decision? Because it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, literally all the elected officials I'm talking here about, the senators, the reps member, the governor, seem to be in the camp of the caretaker committee. So who are those that constitute a NEC that made this decision? And when was the NEC convened?
NEC consists of over 120 members. And the quorum for a meeting of NEC, like every other meeting of the party, is 1/3. NEC met on 2nd May of this year at the national headquarters and passed a resolution. Part of that resolution is that NEC will no longer tolerate its image, the image of the party, being dragged in the mud. And NEC set up a disciplinary committee, which committee was tasked with powers to investigate allegations of misbehavior and anti-party activities by some members of the party. The committee concluded this report and submitted to NEC, upon which the NEC took a decision to suspend some members of the party.
So, just a moment. I'm going to come back to you. Okay. But my question actually was, how many elected officials are part of the NEC that made the decision? It's a straight question. I saw you, I've seen your law, I know how many, you can do the tabulation, but how many elected officials in that sense? How come this is coming immediately after?
The only elected,
just a moment. Because
the only elected officials that are members of NEC are the governor elected on the party, on the platform of the party, and the secretary and the deputy governor.
Okay. And they were not there apparently.
Senators and House of Rep members are not members of NEC.
Okay, that's why I wanted it to be clear. Let's go to Mr. Ekoma. Mr. Ekoma, I would like your reaction to some of the things that Mr. Kingibe has said as well.
Okay, thank you. I think the greatest act of irresponsibility is a flagrant violation of the constitution of a party. We have a party constitution that confers certain powers on the national chairman as long as the tenure of that national chairman has not expired. Once your tenure expires, you've lost the authority to preside over the affairs of the party as the national chairman. The tenure of Mr. Julius Abure expired. He pleaded for an extension, which he got, and it expired. Instead of him to respect himself and take a walk, he manipulated and imposed himself on the party. Then the leadership of the party took the right decision, which was to set up the National Caretaker Committee led by Senator Nenadi Usman to begin the process of organizing a national convention, starting from the congresses, the ward, local government and state congresses, then zonal before getting to the convention. Ask the man that spoke here how and where they conducted the congresses that led to the emergence of Abure as national chairman. On what grounds, on what constitutional basis did Abure become the national chairman? So as far as we are concerned, we believe it's an insult to even describe Abure as a factional national chairman. He's not, he's an impersonator. Okay? So he is indulging in impersonation. And I can tell you authoritatively that what he just did this evening was just a preemptive strategy, okay, to avoid being suspended from the party, because the caretaker committee has set up a committee and they summoned him over allegation of corruption and impersonation. And when that was brought to his attention, he hurriedly went and announced the suspension, the alleged suspension of Governor Alex Otti and other eminent members of the party.
All right.
And it's also important for me to add here at this point, and let me add that this is not about Governor Alex Otti, Senator Nenadi Usman, or Senator Darlington Nwokocha, or any other members of the party. It's about constitutionalism. It's about our law. It's about the integrity of the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court of Federal Republic.
May I comment here?
All right, Mr. Ekoma, Mr. Kingibe, before you comment. So, Mr. Ekoma, I just want you to respond to this. The counter-argument that most of the time I see from, thank God Mr. Kingibe is here, they consider caretaker committee as an aberration to your constitution. They also have talked about the fact that the convention that brings the NWC comes every 4 years, but every other Congress is 3 years. So that time lag is their reliance to have organized the Navy convention. But another part is removing Barrister Julius Abure. If you look at your constitution, Article 18, and it's one of the funniest legislation I've seen in my life, where it says that for you to remove Julius Abure as the national chairman of your party, if for instance, they say he's the national chairman of the party, it's by 2/3 majority of the convention. That convention has to be called by him for that sole purpose. So is it that there's a problem with the law governing Labour Party, so everybody is trying to walk around it to his own advantage in that sense? Mr. Ekoma, before I take it to Mr. Kingibe.
Yeah, so it's important to state that once you violate any section of the party, any of the processes established in the constitution of the party preceding your emergence or the election of any member of the party, every other thing, every other action you've taken will amount to illegality. I asked, where did they hold the world congresses? Where did they hold the local government congresses? Where did they hold the state congresses and the zonal congresses? that preceded the convention that produced him. Because he knew that if the platform was provided for those congresses to be conducted, that he would never be considered as the national chairman, to be elected as the national chairman of the party. Because more than 90% of the members of the party had rejected him. They didn't want him. So it's an aberration for you to insist in being the national chairman. I just want to lay the foundation, because once you have violated those provisions of the Constitution that laid the foundation for your emergence as the national chairman, every other thing, it's not even necessary.
Let's take it back to Mr. Kingibe.
My apologies.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Mr. Akoma, just a moment. Go on time. Mr. Kingibe, your response.
Yes. The Constitution of the Labour Party is clear about membership of the National Convention. If you look at that membership, and it is also clear about who can call National Convention and who can call the neck of the party. It is also clear about the formation of committees of the party. The only body that can set up any committee at all, whether standing committee or ad hoc committee, is the National Executive Council of the party. And the Constitution is also clear about who can convene National Executive Council. It is there that for a National Executive Council to be convened, the notice has to be given by the National Secretary of the party in consultation with an approval of the National Chairman. Now, they said the Caretaker Committee. Who set it up? The meeting in Umuahia, the September 4 meeting that they said they held in Umuahia, is an unlawful assembly. It can never be recognized as a meeting or a National Executive Committee meeting of the Labour Party. Because for a National Executive Committee meeting to hold, it has to be called by the National Secretary, who is Alhaji Farouk Ibrahim, the National Secretary of the Labour Party. And that National Secretary of the Labour Party has to do it in consultation with an approval of the National Chairman. That is Article 14(4)(b) of the Labour Party Constitution. So whatever they did in Umuahia is an unlawful assembly, and they are on a frolic of their own. No caretaker committee has ever been set up by the Labour Party. So they are on a frolic of their own. They are just doing whatever they are doing. They have no authority at all to take decision for the Labour Party. It is only the neck of the party. And Abure was rightfully elected as the re-elected as national chairman of the Labour Party. At the National Convention
Just a moment, please. Because of time. Mr. Ekoma, your closing thoughts on this. It looks like, Mr. Ekoma, your closing thoughts on this. It looks like this is like, I don't know, is it a journey of no return? Because everybody's grandstanding. How is the government taking this news, and what is the next line of action? In 1 minute.
Okay. So it's not about Governor Alex Otti, like I did say earlier. It's about our law. It's about our constitution. It's about the integrity of the Supreme Court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If the Supreme Court did not find merit in the appeal brought by the Caretaker Committee led by distinguished Senator Nenadi Usman, the Supreme Court would have automatically declined jurisdiction and thrown it out. The Supreme Court found merit in the application and rightly heard that the tenure of Abure had expired, and went on to admonish political parties to respect their constitution and for people to leave when their tenure expires. It's a very simple thing. The appeal was found merit, it was upheld, and Abure was still recognized as the national chairman of the party. So what Abure and the gang of comedians there who are busy abusing everybody, what they are doing is an affront on our constitution. It's an affront on our democracy, and it has to be viewed from that perspective. Gentlemen, they are not interested in winning any election. That is the truth. They are not interested in winning any election. What they're just advancing is their economic interest, and they feel that Alex Otti's name is, can be used to advance that. That's just what they're doing. They are not interested in winning any election. But they've imposed him. Which after the 2023 election, Labour Party had taken part in other elections. Which state did they do well? Because
my apologies. This is definitely an ongoing conversation. We're far from over. But I must thank both of you gentlemen. This is the latest development in your party, and it's quite interesting how things are playing out. But I must thank you both, gentlemen.
I should also make my final comments.
Just 10 seconds if you can, because I'm totally out of time. 10 seconds, no more than that.
I would say that the party is running, the party is on the upswing, the party is doing very, very well under the leadership of Barrister Julius Abure. The Supreme Court never sacked Abure. The Supreme Court only emphasized the supremacy of the party and the bindingness of the decision taken by the organs of the party. The bindingness of the decision taken by the National Convention, the neck of the party, as to who is the chairman of the party. The court can never sack any chairman of the Labour Party. What the court said was that it is not the business of the court to appoint a leader for the party, and it is not the business of the court to actually pronounce anybody as leader. It is an internal affairs of the political party.
Your points are well noted. I give you 10 seconds so you have your last thought. So at the end of the day, it looks like everybody is arguing as to who is the leadership of the party. Ferdinand Dekoma is the SA media and publicity to the governor of Abia State, Alex Otti. Mr. Kingibe is the legal advisor of the Labour Party led by Julius Abure. So we're going to keep tabs.